waves, waves, artist waves. We making waves, 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 artist waves.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Artist Waves Live, a special Monday edition. My name is Jeff Gorra, and we are talking to the band Radkey today. Isaiah Radkey, one of the three brothers that forms the band Radkey, and they are coming to us from outside of Kansas City. We're going to be talking about their new music, which is called Green Room, that came out in November. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Foo Fighters, because Foo Fighters, first of all, played the first show at Madison Square Garden last night. First full rock concert back, full capacity. I think 18,000 people vaccinated, loud and proud inside the Garden. And it was really something special, especially if you caught how they opened the show, which was Dave Grohl on the keyboard with Rami, I believe, just playing times like these. Do yourself a favor, Google YouTube the opening of last night's show, and it'll give you chills. It'll give you goosebumps. It was something special. But we'll get to that later. We are talking to Isaiah from Radkey, and I believe he is here. So let's get Isaiah in the Artist Waves live room here, and we'll get going. Hey, Isaiah.
What's up?
How are you, man?
Doing good.
Welcome to Artist Waves Live. It is a pleasure to have you on behalf of Radkey here with us here today.
Hell yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Nice. I'm just adjusting our little... There we go. All right, we're good. So cool, man. So are you... I was giving a little intro talking about the group and how you guys are, based out of the Kansas City, Missouri area. Is that where you are right now? Are you coming to us live from the Radkey headquarters?
I am live from the Radkey headquarters, Kansas City.
Nice. That's awesome. So we're outside Boston, but we are big fans of everything that you guys are doing. Believe it or not, your music has made its way here long ago. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity now that live music is back to get you at one of our local punk rock clubs, which I know you have been to before. So we're on our way.
Yeah, I'm stoked everything's coming back. Like, I'm really excited to play shows again, for real.
Yeah. It's, I was talking just a little bit about how you guys are going to be hopping on tour with the Foo Fighters soon, and basically what they did last night in New York City in the Garden, how special it was, especially seizing the moment. I don't know if you got to see any of the YouTube clips of them coming out and playing Times Like These. What an appropriate message and moment. Very mellow version, and then obviously they exploded, but it was not to go down a rabbit hole there, but it was pretty cool.
Hell
It was
yeah.
a nice welcoming back.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we need right now, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got to tell you a quick story before I start asking you some questions about the group and the new music. The way that I got introduced to your band was, for me, something pretty cool when you talk about discovering new rock music. So this past year, especially last spring of 2020, man, I was listening to music nonstop. Anytime I had a free moment, there were headphones on, and music was just getting me somewhere else outside of the reality of the confusion and madness. And I was listening to the Ramones, basically a Ramones Spotify or Pandora playlist. And I don't know if this ever happens to you, but when my Ramones playlist ended, it automatically, the algorithm defaults to music that is similar to what you were just listening to. So all of a sudden my playlist ended, and your music was right after my Ramones playlist. So I grew up right outside of New York City, so I'm a big Ramones kind of punk rock influenced person. And I was like, wow, I actually thought maybe this was a Ramones song I hadn't heard before. And then I looked into it, and it was you guys. And that was a cool intro for me, for you to be, a generation or two away from them, and for that to be how the world of Spotify or Pandora is recognizing your music through the likes of some legends like the Ramones.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty sweet to be considered like a rock band, that would be played after classics like that. That's pretty much like what we set out to do, is to be taken seriously like one of the real rock bands out there. So that kind of stuff is amazing to hear.
Yeah, it was cool, and that was my intro to you guys, and then obviously, like I was saying, it brought me back to all of your previous records before Green Room came out, and Delicious Noise and all that stuff. So cheers to your new music, by the way, which came out in November. I've been cranking it loud and proud. How does it feel to have that out right now? Obviously, no. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, it feels amazing because like we had like all the tours and stuff kind of got canceled, so we had time to get into the studio and we had to do all the pre-production at home and then go into the studio and produce it just us. So that was crazy. So for everyone to be digging the record that we did all by ourselves is an amazing feeling, especially into this Foo Fighters tour and things that we're doing now. It feels great to be going into that with music that it's just all you. So it feels pretty cool.
Did you have all the songs written prior to being stuck at home for a year?
Only maybe like 3 or 4 of the songs. We used the rest of the time we had to kind of start writing, jamming, looking through demos and things like that. And we had a lot of time to fix everything and do a bunch of new kinds of production that we've never done before.
That's cool. And I'm imagining that you guys were together, right? Are you all still live together, or at least close by?
Yeah, we're pretty close. Like we have the house, the Radkey headquarters, and then I live in Independence every once in a while.
Nice. And in terms of the songs that make up the new EP, were you recording at home? Actually, you said you did it all yourself, or do you have a home studio where you're able to do that?
We just did the pre-production and all the stuff like at home in our little home studio thing. We don't have much at home, but we took everything to the studio we were gonna do.
Gotcha. So let's take a quick step back. So the group obviously is you and your two brothers, which everybody knows by now, and it's such a cool dynamic when you see that type of music come together out of someone's home and their upbringing and jamming amongst siblings. Um, was with you on bass and D on guitar and your brother Solomon on the drums. Was that always how you had kind of planned it out, where you each had you each had your own individual instruments, or was it more along the lines of you all played various instruments and that's what you play live?
Well, D had always played guitar. He started off playing drums. So, and I had a bass for a while. So when we actually decided to really lock down and start the band and really play music together, the thing that was left was drums for Saul. So he did that so we could have a full band formed and not have to look for any kind of like band members or anything like that. And from then, yeah, we were just going from there. So yeah, it was pretty much whatever was left, and because D had done the guitar and was really far in that, so we are gonna kind of lean on that.
How has that advanced now? Do all of you play multiple instruments?
Yeah, we all do a couple different things now, like not like as good as we do like our main instruments, but we do mess around with different stuff now, like piano, and I'll play a little bit of guitar, and yeah, Saul plays a little piano as well. Just like we're just kind of messing around with a bunch of different stuff and things that learning it to be able to add it to songs in the studio, not as much being able to like perform it live like crazy well.
Yeah. Right on. That's cool. So take me inside. So I'm infatuated. I'm really interested in your concept of Green Room. And if you even look at the album cover, the pink house, is that the house you guys grew up in?
Yes.
Okay. Is that house still in close proximity to you guys? Do you ever frequent that house or that Green Room?
No, I mean, I think everything's changed there now. That's down or up in St. Joe, and yeah, it's crazy seeing it now. It's all changed, and It's a lot nicer now, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's all different.
So it's cool because it's literally, if I can see it correctly, it's literally a small green room inside that house. That
Totally.
was your jam space. So if you could take me inside that room when the three of you guys were in there, honing your craft, jamming, learning your instruments, writing songs. What was it like? Was it like that was the place you always gravitated towards, and that was your happiest place? Or if I was a fly on the wall inside the green room, what was it like?
It was great because that was even the room we originally, when we decided to all sleep in the same room, that was like the room we all moved all the beds into and stuff. And once we all got much older and we were like starting the band and stuff, we had moved all the beds to the bigger room that was upstairs. So then the green room was the perfect room to be like a music room, and the way it was like set up and everything for the sound. So it was just a really, really cool spot to be, and it just sounded really good. We never had a jam room that sounded as good as that, actually.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say something along the lines of that, and how much of a special place it was, at least to the formative years of the group. And this concept of green room for musicians is something pretty unique. Like, I mean, before we were called Artist Ways, it was the name of this publication was gonna be called The Green Room with Jeff Gorra, because I knew like a lot of artistic cool things happen inside the green room. It was just a little too common. So I was really gravitating towards your concept and your ideas there. Um, was that something that was planned, at least that title and that theme, pre-pandemic, or being home for so long, did it make you think about that?
What's funny is, uh, Green Room, we actually had a song called Green Room, and it was about, like, literally about green rooms and stuff and things. And the demo just never ended up being much. It was a little too old of a Radkey type song, so we ended up kind of being like, well, the title is legit, and everything did come from a green room. So because we were like trying to figure out a title for the album, it's like, well, after all this and all we've learned, and we're still producing the record, like we should just call this Green Room and have the house and have a visual of what this all you know comes back to, or like where it all began. And you can even see on the side of the house we've got our old van Harvey Dent, which is in that movie What Drives Us, like what we're even talking about, like vans and life in a van. And yeah, so it's all on the cover there. It's pretty cool.
It really is. It's awesome, and it's a really cool vinyl too, for those that have it, either have had the opportunity to have it, or have framed it or spun it. It's a conceptually and visually, there's a lot happening on
Yep.
that cover. Perfect transition in talking about the van and what drives us, because your component in that film with Dave Grohl was really interesting, because this whole concept of his generation, years 25, 30 years ago, about the importance of a van and what happens inside the van and how memorable it is, to present day with you guys and Starcrawler. First of all, how did that happen where you guys got connected either to Grohl or to that film?
Well, it all started from a handful of shows we did with L7, and Jennifer Finch and the whole band they're big Radkey fans. Like, they were enjoying the shows, and Jen was like taking pictures and stuff, and that was really cool. So we really got along with that group of shows and had a good time. In a couple years or however long down the line, we got a call from Jennifer, or a text asking if we were on the road, and she was going to send us a press contact. So we got the press contact, and it was Dave Grohl's people, and they wanted to do. They're doing a movie about bands and vans, and they wanted a ground level band that's like currently doing it like right now for the movie. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, we rerouted a little bit and got to go film for that, and that was, yeah, it was great. So yeah, that was those L7 shows were life changing.
That's really cool. I didn't know it went back to that level with L7. So we're talking about What Drives Us, the documentary from Dave Grohl, and obviously Radkey has a significant part and a really intriguing part in that film, talking about their experiences. Were you actually in the midst of touring while you were shooting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we were right in the middle of a tour.
So where did they catch you? Where were they able to, jump in your van for a little while? Where in North America were you guys?
We were somewhere in California. We were somewhere in that like west leg of the tour, so it was really easy to kind of get back over there or swing over there. Wherever we were, it was really smooth.
So when you talk about what you guys were talking about in that film and the moments inside the van, and obviously mentioning that the van is on you could see it on the album cover. Well, first of all, do you guys still have that van? Is that still the?
We don't, sadly. It ended up breaking down on the way home from a tour. Like, we're right off the highway. It was pretty sad.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, but that's I feel like that's what has to happen to the
Yep.
van, the first van. It has to break down. It never, in order for the band to progress, the van has to go off the cliff. But do you guys still operate that way in terms of when you're going to go back out and touring? Is it still in the van or going onto a bus now?
Still in the van, yeah. We cram everything in a minivan. Still up into this day, like we don't have a whole lot of gear, and so far we've been able to pull it off. But, we'll see what happens in the future as we have to, maybe add team members to the team, for touring. We'll see how that ends up going, and yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of stories inside the mind of the van, or even that you guys could share on how formative that experience has been. So when you're filming and you're talking to Dave Grohl, are you fascinated by how much, first of all, he knows your music and how much of your story that he loves? Like, what was that like? Because
It was amazing. It was really amazing to get that kind of validation, like for someone his level to look at what you've done in your life and be like, man, you guys are like a rock band, man. You guys rock. Like, this is something that I want to put out there, and that really was a great feeling, because that's what we set out to do in that green room. We set out, we're like, we want to be a band, and we want to play to all kinds of people and be like the Foo Fighters, so this, making it to this area, making it in that movie, getting on this tour, all of that is like an amazing like mission accomplished. Like, we just wanted to be a rock band out there, and be able to play and help bring rock back into the main stream of things and show people that there's still a lot more to do with the genre.
Well, that's what you're doing, you guys, and you're doing it incredibly well and making a big difference in an important genre and important time. So we're lucky to have you. If you were to think about from that experience going forward, coming full circle almost, because you're about a month away from opening for Foo Fighters, which, by the way, is a really good compliment to what they do. To have the three of you guys, given the history of that group and Dave Grohl's history, to have the three of you guys making the noise that you're going to be making prior to them, that's going to be a pretty special run of shows. But being a month out from that, what's something you learned maybe from the experience of What Drives Us that was a big motivator or inspiration for the band before you hop on the road with them?
It's, just seeing that our story is similar to so many of the bands that we look up to, and just to see what they went through, and just to know that we have a shot at that kind of rockin' life, just because we've been on the right track of just like rocking the show after show up until now, so to hear that like that's the journey and like that's the route you're supposed to take, and then that's what these amazing rock people have done, then it's just like sweet, that's great to know that we've managed to keep it, keep rocking the music from our hearts and like not compromising.
That's a key line right there, not compromising. I love that. So cheers to you guys for that. So I guess the other question I'd have on that is, is there something maybe Dave Grohl said to you, or that you keep in the back of your mind in terms of maybe it's a lesson or some sort of mentorship that's now going to be part of the Radkey experience going forward?
Well, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, we grew up watching their movie Back and Forth, and I mean, a lot of stuff we learned about being in a band is from that movie. So yeah, that I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that shit. So that goes back to this what drives us stuff to be in one of those. But yeah, like just learned so much about being in a band from that movie. So I would recommend that actually. Like it's got a lot of the steps that you take when you're getting out there and writing catchy songs and trying to be like a different kind of rock band amongst a bunch of other kinds, like show that you've got like melody and stuff like that. So yeah, that's Foo Fighters. It's a great like blueprint for writing like really catchy songs that rock really hard. And yeah, that's always been a nice blueprint for us.
That is a great documentary. I love that. It's really intriguing in the storylines and in the humor. The humor in it is, there are some funny moments, especially in the outtakes.
Yeah.
But speaking of writing catchy songs, like how does a Radkey song get written amongst you, the three of you guys? I'm sure there's numerous ways, but does one of you bring it in and say, "Here's what I got," and then the rest does their thing, or do you write collectively?
I mean, that's the way that it happens. Like I've got an idea, and sometimes that'll create like probably sometimes like the singles or something like that, and then we'll jam, and sometimes that's a single. But like we do a lot of different kinds of ways. But like to fill an album, we always try to make sure we hit a lot of options, like coming up with songs on the acoustics, building from there. Make sure you hit the jam room a couple times because then you could really get a song. Just make sure you don't skip any of the techniques, pretty much, because you want to have as many songs as possible, and you just don't stick to one thing. Like keep out of your comfort zone a little bit. We try to do so. Jam room, acoustic, songs that you've just come up with while hanging out. Like I mean, that's how songs like Dark Like Makeup or Romance Dawn came up, just kind of chilling, and then the melody will hit your head. So make sure you kind of hang out and have a lot of fun too, because some of our best songs come from just literally doing nothing, like watching movies. So you got to mix in a lot of different things, and you can't like have that be an excuse for doing too much hanging out. So you got to really dance on the line of a lot of things, really, to come up with some legit songs. But because if you're way too uptight, you're gonna get tunnel vision. So, but you don't want to get too lazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I think about a song like Underdog or Judy or something like that, and what drew me to those was how it's really hard driving, especially in the verses. But then you have these big choruses that are big choruses, but they're melodic,
Mm-hmm.
and your lyrics are very defined too. So I mean, it's an interesting concept on how the three of you are able to put that all together to have such a big wave of punk rock and melody, and all compiled into this mixed genre of a record.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, like for instance, Underdog or Underground, at that song that I kept did this thing where you just like I call it like chorus grinding, and you come up with as many catchy choruses in your head as possible, and 99% of them are going to be terrible, but you can find one in there that's actually extremely catchy and actually kind of amazing. But then you're like, is this terrible? So then you got to take it to the band and be like, okay, am I crazy, or did I come up with something in this grind? But yeah, Underground, that's another technique you can use.
I like that. I used to write a little bit of songs back in the day too, and the chorus was always I'd always work backwards from the chorus sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that technique. Are you guys friendly now with Starcrawler, the other band that was alongside of you guys in the New Age band group?
We actually have not actually gotten to meet them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure we'll cross paths.
Cool. So speaking of paths, obviously the new record's out. You got a few weeks until you got a hometown area show, and then you're hopping on this big tour throughout the fall, late summer, throughout the fall. What are you most looking forward to? How are you guys feeling? You must be pretty stoked to get back out there.
I'm very excited to get back to the life that we were living before. That was kind of, we adapted to a lot of things on the road, and it's going to be crazy getting back into that because like, we've got a lot of shows coming, and we're stoked because like just I miss seeing the world, seeing the country, And that was something we used to do all the time. And sitting in your house all this time, I've always loved time off, but like you start to realize, man, that's one of the things I like to do is kind of get around, like just be moving, kind of like Lord of the Rings or something, or constantly. So yeah, that's something we're really looking forward to. And yeah, I mean, it's been cool being off. Like I was able to learn how to grow plants and stuff like that, and I'll take that, on for the rest of my life. But it's time to get back on the road.
Right on. And now you got this whole new batch of songs and this new record to play live, so it's going to be pretty fresh for you with the Foo Fighters, and then obviously on your own. So last question, and it's kind of a full circle moment. If we were to go back into the green room right now, the three of you guys in that pink house in the green room, maybe you're sitting on the floor, you're learning your instruments, you're writing some songs, and I were to come in there and tell you, hey, guess what, guys? You guys are going to have these three incredible records. You're going to write a record that is going to come out ultimately, maybe towards the end of a pandemic, hopefully. That's where we're at. We're right before the year 2021. And guess what? You're also going to be on tour with Foo Fighters. If I were to have told you that inside the green room, how do you think you guys would have reacted? And what do you think that would mean to you right now?
Ah, man, I'll tell you what, I do think about that thing quite a bit, where it's us going back in time, and it's crazy. So that's something that I feel like we wouldn't be able to believe. I don't think we'd be able to believe it. It would be like, oh, okay. I mean, that's obviously the dream, but I don't know if I can believe that. That's like we're just gonna go straight to like getting what we wanted, what we wanted to achieve. But it's just like, damn, all right. Like you start to think like, did we will this into existence? Because it's just like it's literally like the exact goal, So it's like, damn, hell yeah.
Nice. Well, you're doing it because you guys are honest, authentic, and you write some pretty awesome songs. So, all the best to you. I'm stoked for you. I know it's been 10 years and counting, and you guys have worked your tail off, and it's pretty cool to see what's coming up for you guys, and to see what the summer is going to hold. So cheers to you and your brothers, and I'm really excited we got the chance to talk, and I hope to see you out on the East Coast, if not this summer, maybe the fall.
Hell yeah, man. I'm stoked, and thank you. I'm ready to rock on, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I was checking out your merch this week too, and I got to get one of those green Radkey green room hoodies.
Yeah.
Those
They're
are
soft.
those are right on the money.
Hell yeah, dude.
Awesome. Well, Isaiah, thanks so much, man. This was a blast. Appreciate you joining Artist Waves, and congratulations. Cheers to you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, cheers. Rock and roll.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you soon. All right. Isaiah Radkey from the band Radkey. Please check out their new record, which came out in November. You could check them out anywhere you listen to music. It's out everywhere, and it's really, really good. It rocks. And those guys have something special brewing that they've been doing for a long time, and now they're going to be alongside the Foo Fighters doing it with them too. So really cool and really important and fun music. So my name's Jeff Gorra. Shout out to this shirt that I'm slapping here, which is called Rustic Spirits. I think it says just pour on the back. Great margarita, hometown margarita group that I frequent quite a bit. So shout out Rustic Spirits for this awesome shirt too. And I'll see you next time on Artist Waves Live. New episodes are coming soon, so we'll be on the lookout for who some new and exciting and great guests will be. Until that time, cheers, sayonara, and happy birthday, Dad. Boom.